If you're a chosen one, there's a moment from your childhood that still echoes in your soul. An experience so real, so divine, yet no one talks about it. A flash of light, a voice, a dream, a presence that wrapped around your spirit and whispered, "You are here for a reason." And even now, you can feel it. It's not just nostalgia. It's a spiritual truth, a divine calling etched into your earliest memories. But the world tried to erase it. They told you it was just your imagination, that you were too sensitive, too different, or too dramatic. But you weren't. You were awakened, spiritually marked from a young age. A child with a purpose the world couldn't understand. That memory, it wasn't random. It was a sign that you are God's chosen, born with divine gifts the world fears and tries to suppress. But today, we bring it back into the light. Because it's not just a memory, it's a spiritual marker. And if you remember it, you're not just gifted. You're called. You're chosen. You're powerful. And no system, no voice, no lie can take that away anymore. It's time to remember who you've always been. Hello, chosen one. If you're watching this, chances are you've always known you were different. There's a deep, almost unexplainable part of you that feels out of place in the world. You've felt it since childhood, right? Maybe you even tried to fit in or convince yourself that you were like everyone else, but no matter how hard you tried, you knew something inside of you was set apart. That feeling of being different is more than just a passing thought. It's a part of your divine purpose, and it's time you embrace it. You are not alone in this journey. I want you to know that this spiritual awakening, this sense of being called for something greater than what this world offers, it's real. It's part of who you are, part of your calling as God's chosen one. The truth is, the world isn't ready for your divine gifts, your spiritual power, or your light. But that doesn't mean you need to hide it any longer. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the childhood experiences that every chosen one remembers, but that the world wants you to forget. We'll explore how these early moments of awakening weren't just random events. They were part of the divine blueprint designed specifically for you. This journey is about reconnecting with the purpose that's been inside of you all along. By the end, you'll find clarity about your unique calling, comfort in your divinely aligned purpose, and the peace that comes with knowing you are here for a reason much bigger than you can even imagine. You're not just different, you're chosen. Let's rediscover your path. As a child, you always felt like you were different, didn't you? Maybe you couldn't quite put it into words back then, but deep down, you knew you didn't quite fit the mold. While others around you seemed to be living in the predictable rhythm of childhood, you were aware of something more, something deeper, something spiritual. Even though you were just a child, you felt a connection to something beyond the physical world. And that was the beginning of your journey as a chosen one. Do you remember those moments when you felt a deep inner knowing? It wasn't something you learned or were taught. It was something that bubbled up from within, an intuition far beyond your years. You could feel emotions and energies that others couldn't, sometimes sensing people's moods before they even spoke a word. You could hear whispers of truth in the wind, feel the weight of unspoken feelings, and see things that others missed. You were in touch with a spiritual awareness that others didn't understand. For a spiritual child, this deep connection with the world around you often makes you feel misunderstood, maybe even labeled as weird or too sensitive by those who couldn't see what you saw. But the truth is, you weren't weird, you were spiritually awakened before your time. You may have had experiences that felt extraordinary, even supernatural. Perhaps you talked to animals as if they understood you, and you understood them. It wasn't just a child's imagination. There was a quiet, sacred communication happening. Those animals weren't just pets. They were spiritual beings, guides, and messengers, helping you navigate your spiritual path from a young age. You may have even had imaginary friends who spoke to you with wisdom far beyond your years. While others dismissed them as figments of your imagination, you knew there was something sacred about these encounters. Those imaginary friends weren't just made up. They were divine entities guiding you, protecting you, and helping you understand your purpose. And then, there were the prophetic dreams. As a child, you may have experienced visions of the future, dreams that were so vivid and real, they stayed with you for years. These dreams weren't just random thoughts. They were messages, a glimpse of your destiny, showing you the path ahead. But in a world that often dismissed such experiences, it was easy to feel like you were alone, and maybe even wrong. As a chosen one, these early signs, these gifts, often made you feel like an outsider. Spiritual children are often misunderstood. People may have even labeled you as overly sensitive or misdiagnosed you, thinking there was something wrong with you when, in reality, you were spiritually attuned. These gifts, these signs were not abnormalities. They were signs that you were chosen, that your divine purpose was already beginning to manifest. The world just wasn't ready to see you for who you truly were. They didn't understand your depth, your awareness, and your sensitivity to the spiritual realm. Your childhood experience as a chosen one was not a mistake. It was a divinely guided awakening, a process that, while often lonely and confusing, set you on the path to discovering your true purpose. These early years were not just about growing up. They were about remembering who you really are, why you're here, and what incredible journey you're destined to take. So, if you ever felt like no one understood you, like you were an outsider, just know this: you were never alone. Your spiritual gifts, even when misunderstood or silenced, have always been there, guiding you, protecting you, and slowly preparing you for the greatness that lies ahead. Your calling was written long before your birth, and these early childhood experiences were only the beginning. Every chosen one shares a common thread, a memory so vivid, so powerful, that it stands out from the rest of their childhood experiences. It's the kind of memory that you cannot shake, no matter how much time passes. It might have been a spiritual dream so real that it felt like you were physically present in another realm, a divine visitation that filled your soul with an indescribable sense of love and light, or an unexplainable encounter that left you both awestruck and deeply confused. This moment didn't just change your life, it awakened you. What is it about this moment that makes it stand out so strongly in the minds of chosen ones? Why does it remain etched in your heart, despite the passage of time? The answer lies in the spiritual significance of the memory. This wasn't just a random childhood experience. It was a divinely orchestrated awakening, the beginning of your spiritual journey, a moment when the veil between the earthly realm and the spiritual realm grew thin. You were given a glimpse of something much larger than yourself, something that spoke to your divine purpose from a young age. Yet, for many chosen ones, this memory is often dismissed. As a child, you may have tried to share it with others, your parents, teachers, or friends, but they didn't understand. They couldn't see what you saw. And so, these spiritual moments are often suppressed or brushed aside, dismissed as mere childhood fantasies or dreams. Society, in its need for logic and control, has a way of suppressing these spiritual gifts and awakening memories. The world encourages us to forget, to focus on reality and reason, leaving little room for the mystical and the divine. But what if this memory is precisely the key to understanding your divine purpose? You've probably wondered why, despite the strength and clarity of this moment, it's so hard to explain to others. Why does it feel like the world is trying to erase it from your consciousness? It's because the systems of society, from the education system to mainstream religion, do not celebrate or acknowledge the existence of spiritual experiences. Instead, they teach you to doubt them. They teach you to forget. But these memories, this spiritual awakening, were not meant to be erased. They were meant to be cherished. They were the first step in your journey of discovering the true calling that has always been written into your soul. The reason these awakening memories are so powerful is that they are not isolated moments. They are spiritual markers, moments where you touch the divine, even if just for a brief moment. These experiences are often dismissed because they don't fit into the conventional narrative of how we are taught to view the world. Society's logic cannot explain them, but that doesn't make them any less real. This was your first encounter with divine love, and it left an imprint on your soul that has never faded. You were touched by something greater than yourself, an experience that transcended the physical, bringing you face to face with your higher self. It's why you felt different, why you sensed your divine purpose even as a child. The memory is so vivid because it was your first awakening, and it forever altered the course of your life. It's the reason you've always known that you were destined for something extraordinary, even when others couldn't see it. In the hustle of everyday life, we are taught to suppress these spiritual gifts. Society encourages conformity and rational thinking, pushing us away from the very thing that connects us to the divine. But for chosen ones, these memories cannot be erased. The divine purpose within you cannot be ignored. This moment of awakening, even if forgotten by others, was the starting point of your journey toward embracing your true calling. It's crucial to recognize that these memories are not just random occurrences. They were divinely timed experiences meant to shape your spiritual path. Perhaps you've felt a longing to reconnect with this moment, to remember the depth of the spiritual encounter you had. And as you walk this path, it's important to honor those moments, even if the world dismisses them. They are reminders of your divine purpose and the spiritual gifts you were born with. So, when you look back on that one moment from your childhood, the one memory that has always stuck with you, remember this: it wasn't a dream. It wasn't just your imagination. It was a divine encounter meant to guide you, to awaken you, and to show you that you are destined for something far greater than you could have ever imagined. The world may try to erase these memories, but the truth is, they are the key to understanding your spiritual path and divine purpose. You are the chosen one, and this memory is your proof. As a chosen one, you've probably felt the pull of something greater within you, even from a young age. There's a deep inner knowing, an innate wisdom that sets you apart. However, despite this spiritual awakening, the world around you works hard to suppress that truth. The systems of society, from the school system to the media, and even within the walls of your own home, have been designed to keep you from fully embracing your divine gifts. From an early age, children who are spiritually gifted or prophetic are often misunderstood. In schools, teachers may label you as too sensitive, troubled, or even overactive, simply because you see the world differently. You might have been told you were daydreaming when you were receiving divine guidance, or that you were imagining things when you were speaking to animals or experiencing prophetic dreams. These labels are not just misunderstandings. They are tactics to shut down your spiritual truth. But why? Why does the world, in all its systems, seek to erase the spiritual wisdom that you carry? The answer lies in fear. The world has always been afraid of the light that shines on those who are spiritually aware. It fears the power of prophetic children who are connected to divine guidance because the truth they carry cannot be controlled or silenced. Darkness, in the form of societal conditioning, limiting beliefs, and fear, fears the light in a child because it cannot stand in the presence of truth. Throughout history, spiritual leaders and visionaries who challenged the norms were often silenced or dismissed, and the same forces work against the chosen ones of today. The media and societal narratives portray spirituality as something to be wary of, turning our focus toward materialism, logic, and reason. Prophetic children are often seen as outliers, but the world's misunderstanding of their gifts is not an accident. It's a deliberate effort to keep souls disconnected from their true purpose. Even within families, spiritual children can be seen as a challenge. Parents who may not understand the depth of their child's gifts may push them into conformity, telling them to stop daydreaming and focus on practical matters. In some cases, gifted children are told to grow up and forget about their dreams, visions, and spiritual experiences. This conditioning, although well-meaning, silences the soul, preventing them from fully embracing their true nature as chosen ones. This suppression doesn't just happen in childhood, it can continue into adulthood. When chosen ones feel the call of their divine purpose, they often face resistance from society. The world's systems are built to reward conformity, not spiritual growth. And so, those who carry the light, the spiritually gifted individuals who are meant to shine brightly in this world, are often made to feel different or even wrong. The world suppresses spiritual truth because that truth has the power to free people from the chains of fear, doubt, and conformity. The spiritual awakening you experienced as a child was not a random occurrence. It was a calling, a glimpse into the divine plan for your life. But society's conditioning through schools, media, and even family worked tirelessly to quiet your spiritual gifts, tried to program you to forget, to fit into a mold that didn't honor your true essence. But no matter how hard the world tries to suppress your divine calling, it can never truly silence the truth that lies within you. You are a chosen one, And while the world may try to make you forget, your soul will always remember. The divine light within you will continue to shine through, no matter the darkness around you. Now that you've begun to remember those mystic childhood experiences, it's time to view them through the lens of your divine calling. The memories you've suppressed for years were never just random moments of childhood wonder. They were early signs that you are God's chosen. From the deep empathy you felt for animals to the conversations you had with invisible friends who offered wisdom beyond their years, every experience was a piece of the puzzle of your spiritual gifts. They weren't accidents. They were your soul's preparation for the incredible path that lies before you. Remembering these experiences is like peeling back the layers of a divine mystery. Each memory is a thread in the greater tapestry of your life's purpose. Those mystic childhood experiences were the divine whispers calling you to walk a higher path, to embody the light that only you can shine in this world. Perhaps you had a powerful vision, felt a surge of love and light during a dream, or encountered an inexplicable moment of grace. These moments were not just figments of your imagination. They were glimpses of your God-given destiny. As you reconnect to your childhood truth, you begin to uncover the deeper meaning behind each experience. You begin to realize that what you once thought was a moment of childhood fantasy was, in fact, a profound encounter with the divine. The spiritual gifts in childhood were not meant to be dismissed or forgotten. They were divine markers placed along your journey. And now, as an adult, you are meant to embrace these gifts fully, using them to bring light to the world and fulfill your purpose. Reconnecting with your spiritual past empowers your current spiritual walk in profound ways. The world may have tried to silence your inner voice, but now, through remembering, you reclaim that inner knowing. This knowledge opens up new levels of understanding about your path, and you can move forward with clarity, confidence, and peace. The divine guidance you received as a child was not a fleeting gift. It was a seed planted deep within you, waiting to bloom into full manifestation as you step into your true calling. Consider the stories of others who have remembered their childhood spiritual experiences. Take, for example, the testimony of Maria, a woman who grew up feeling misunderstood and out of place. As a child, she had vivid dreams of angels and prophetic visions that she was too afraid to share. Her family and friends labeled her as sensitive and even dismissed her experiences as mere imagination. But as an adult, Maria began to reconnect with these memories. She realized that those visions were not just dreams. They were glimpses into her spiritual gifts. Today, Maria is an intuitive healer, guiding others through their spiritual journeys with the wisdom she gained from her childhood truth. Then there's David, who as a young boy could sense the emotional state of those around him. He often found himself comforting people, even those he didn't know, because he could feel their pain. This sensitivity was dismissed by his family, who encouraged him to toughen up. It wasn't until David began to remember these spiritual gifts in childhood that he understood his calling. He now works as a spiritual counselor, helping others heal by tapping into the deep empathy that was awakened in him as a child. These stories are just a few examples of the power of remembering. When you reconnect with your childhood truth, you too will realize that your early spiritual experiences were not random. They were carefully orchestrated by the divine to prepare you for the journey ahead. You are being called to step into your full potential, and remembering your mystic childhood experiences is the key to unlocking that power. The divine has been with you all along, guiding you, nurturing you, and preparing you for this moment. God's chosen, you are more than capable of stepping into the light you've always carried. The memories of your childhood may have been hidden for a time, but now is the moment to embrace them. For in doing so, you embrace your true calling. The world needs your light, and by reconnecting with your past, you are empowered to shine brighter than ever before. As a chosen one, your journey didn't start when you began to understand your spiritual gifts. The signs you were chosen as a child were evident long before you recognized your divine calling. From early childhood, you may have felt marked by something unique, something that set you apart from others, whether through trauma, isolation, or the sheer sense of wonder that filled your days. These experiences were not random. They were divine markers on your path, shaping you for the purpose God intended for your life. One of the most common experiences among chosen ones is a deep sense of moral clarity and a strong moral compass from a young age. Even as a child, you had an innate understanding of right and wrong. While others might have been swayed by peer pressure or the opinions of those around them, you stood firm in your beliefs, even when it was difficult. This strength of character was not just a trait. It was an early indication of your divine purpose. You were never meant to follow the crowd. You were meant to lead with the truth that was embedded deep within your soul. You were also the kind of child who asked deep, profound questions that many adults would dismiss as too big for someone so young. You were always seeking answers, always curious about the mysteries of life. Whether you questioned the nature of the universe, the meaning of existence, or even the love and protection of a higher power, you sought understanding in ways that others didn't. Your spiritual hunger was a reflection of your divine calling, a calling that was always present, even if you couldn't articulate it at the time. Another defining characteristic of chosen ones is the ability to see what others can't. While the world around you may have been focused on the tangible, the physical, and the material, you were drawn to the unseen world, the spiritual realm. You noticed things that others missed. You sensed energies, saw connections between people, and had an intuition that often left others in awe. You may have even had prophetic dreams or visions that were beyond your years, showing glimpses of the future or revealing hidden truths about the world. These experiences were not hallucinations or random occurrences. They were signs of your divine purpose unfolding. Even in your isolation, you felt a profound sense of being guided and protected, as though a higher power was always watching over you. There may have been times in your life when you felt completely alone, whether physically isolated from others or emotionally misunderstood. But even in those moments of solitude, you had a sense of comfort and reassurance, as though you were not truly alone. Perhaps you had a deep, quiet knowing that your spiritual journey was protected, even when the world around you didn't understand it. This sense of divine protection was one of the many ways your spiritual gifts were being nurtured and safeguarded by the divine. For many chosen ones, their childhood was a period of both wonder and trauma. You may have experienced intense moments of love and connection with the divine, but you may have also faced hardship or loss. These experiences, though difficult, were also part of the preparation for your calling. The trauma you faced catalyzed growth, building your strength and resilience for the challenges ahead. It also heightened your empathy, allowing you to relate to others in deep, meaningful ways and provide support to those in need. Looking back now, you can see the threads of your divine purpose from a young age, how your experiences, questions, and abilities were not random but were part of a divine plan to shape you into the chosen one you are today. Every sign you encountered as a child was a piece of the puzzle, pointing you toward the greater destiny that was always meant for you. Even when you didn't fully understand what was happening, God was guiding you, shaping you, and preparing you for the spiritual journey that you are now walking. As you continue to remember and reflect on your chosen one childhood, you'll begin to see the profound spiritual significance behind your experiences. You were never ordinary, you were always meant for something greater. The divine calling on your life was marked long ago, and now, as you embrace your path, you can step into your true power with confidence and clarity. The signs you saw as a child are all part of a greater divine purpose, and it's time for you to embrace that purpose fully. As a chosen one, reclaiming the spiritual memories of your childhood is an essential step in unlocking your full potential and understanding your divine calling. The memories and experiences you once had were not merely fleeting moments. They were spiritual markers, divine truths meant to guide you along your path. However, over time, societal conditioning, life experiences, and even personal doubts may have caused you to suppress these powerful memories. It's time to reclaim your spiritual power and remember who you truly are. The first step in this process is to spiritually remember. To do this, you need to connect with your inner self, your soul, and allow yourself to experience your childhood truth once again. This begins with journaling meditations designed to tap into your subconscious mind. Begin by sitting in a quiet space, closing your eyes, and taking deep breaths. As you breathe in, visualize yourself back in your childhood, feeling the love, the wonder, and the spiritual connection you once had. Write down any memories that surface, even if they seem vague or disconnected. Trust that every memory has significance, and don't judge what comes through. Allow the flow of your thoughts to guide you toward the deeper truths you may have buried. As you journal, use the practice of calling back your soul from the suppressed timelines. This is an important step in your spiritual healing. Often, trauma, rejection, or societal pressures cause us to suppress parts of our being, leaving our souls fragmented or disconnected. Through meditation, you can ask the divine to help you recall the parts of your soul that were once lost, asking to be restored to your complete self. Visualize your soul gathering these pieces and reintegrating into your body and spirit, bringing back all the power you once held. By reclaiming these lost fragments, you will begin to feel a profound sense of wholeness, knowing that nothing about your divine purpose has ever been truly lost. Next, begin to reawaken the wonder, the innocence, and the power you experienced as a child. Remember the days when the world seemed magical, when the divine was ever present, and when you knew you were connected to something greater than yourself. Allow yourself to feel the joy and peace that comes with this reconnection. Allow your heart to be filled with the same purity of spirit you had when you were young, untainted by the limitations the world tries to impose upon you. Reclaiming your spiritual gifts means returning to a place of innocence and trust, where your power comes from your connection to divine truth, not from external validation. Finally, remember this simple but profound truth: God never forgot you. Even when the world tried to make you forget who you are, God was always with you, guiding you, and preparing you for the moment when you would awaken to your full spiritual potential. You were never abandoned, and the divine calling on your life has always remained intact. Now, it's time for you to remember and embrace the power that is yours by divine birthright. Reclaiming your childhood truth means reclaiming your spiritual destiny, reclaiming your chosen purpose. In this journey of spiritual healing, it's vital to be patient with yourself. The memories may not flood back all at once, but each step you take toward remembering is an essential part of the process. Chosen ones are unique, and your journey is uniquely yours. Trust the process, and know that as you continue to call back your soul and reconnect with your spiritual gifts, you will step more fully into your divine calling and the profound purpose for which you were chosen. You didn't imagine it. You were marked from the beginning. From your earliest memories, you were destined for something far greater than the world has allowed you to believe. That feeling of being different, of sensing a deeper truth, it's not just a coincidence. It's not something to brush off as childhood fantasies. It's the divine purpose planted within you, the unmistakable sign that you are a chosen one. The world tried to bury it. Society silenced it. The world wanted you to forget. It tried to label you, dismiss you, or convince you that those spiritual experiences were simply figments of your imagination. But God has brought it all back to the light. The divine truth you've carried within you has never been lost. It's always been there, waiting for you to remember. Now is the time for you to reclaim your purpose, to stand in the power that has always been yours, and to embrace the calling that was placed on your life before you were even born. This journey of remembering is one that not only affects your life but impacts everyone around you. You are not crazy. You are called. Your purpose is not to fit into the mold of the world's expectations. Your purpose is far beyond that. You were chosen to shine a light in a world that desperately needs it, to bring truth to the darkness, and to walk in the divine wisdom that you've carried since childhood. The world might have tried to dim your light, but now it's time to let it shine brighter than ever before. If this video awakens something deep within you, share it. There are others out there still trying to remember. They need to hear this message just like you did. So don't keep it to yourself. Spread the truth. You never know whose heart you might touch and awaken. Call to action. Comment below if this unlocked a memory for you. Let us know what you remember and share your story with us. Subscribe if you're on a journey to reclaim your soul's truth and awaken to your calling. Like this, if you've always known you were different, even before you had the words to explain it. Because you were always meant for greatness. You are not crazy. You are called. And your journey to remembering your divine purpose starts right here, right now. Walk in the light and let it guide you to your destiny. Blessings to you, chosen one.